Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the worst to best sublevels in PM 606 from 1 to 20. Sorry, I had a bit of an identity crisis. Salutations! I am Waterbug, and in this video I will be ranking sublevels 1 to 20 in PM 606 from worst to best. Where I place each sublevel will be based on how well it escalates the game's difficulty and mood, how enjoyable it is, and how memorable it is. If you don't like how I place a sublevel on this list, please let me know in the comment section. I'd be very interested to hear your opinion. Sublevel 4. This sublevel has a weird maze layout that feels messy to me. It's the first sublevel to feature a smiler and purple doors, not counting the tutorial, of course. I don't think sublevel 4 introduces these mechanics well at all. The smiler, despite being slow, often follows the player because the sublevel is so small. The red hue that the smiler forces on the player makes the already messy looking sublevel look even worse. I find the placement of the purple doors to be extremely annoying because the walls surround them in a confusing way. Finally, I think that the number for the code is placed very bluntly. If you're looking for a way to get to the exit, you'll find it with no trouble whatsoever. The only thing the sublevel has going for it is the fact that it's very easy despite being annoying. Deciding to put it at the bottom of this list was not difficult at all. Sublevel 3 is so short. Even if you don't know where to go at all and start by going in completely the wrong direction, it shouldn't take you long at all to find the exit. It feels like the sublevel was just slapped into the game to fill a sublevel number. It's ranked higher than sublevel 4 because it's not annoying to play and has a well-placed number for the code. Because the sublevel is so short, the number being completely off the path to the exit isn't annoying. I wish Smiling Winner put the first smiler in this sublevel, not counting the smiler in the tutorial. That would have put this sublevel much higher because it would be a place to introduce the smiler. Sublevel 15. This is the first sublevel to house a chasing wall, a notoriously deadly wall that moves in one direction and kills you instantly if you touch it. It's basically a timer. This sublevel would be higher if it didn't have a cheap death trick in the beginning. If your first turn of the sublevel isn't right, you're completely screwed. I don't think that's a good way to introduce the chasing wall mechanic. Otherwise, the sublevel does an acceptable job of introducing the chasing wall because when you reach the section with the button, you'll be able to see how it operates. The sublevel is also very short, so if it's your first time playing, you'll probably be motivated to beat it, even after you die to the cheap death trick. Sublevel 11, the second break sublevel. This sublevel would be higher if they didn't remove the cool ceiling. I loved that ceiling. Why'd they remove it? Why? The timing of the break is good. By this point, you've just beaten Smiling Winner for the first time. If you're new, you probably need a bit of a break. The music is great. The code is interesting. I can only put it so high though, because it's just a few hallways with a code and some randomized vending machines, which is fairly irrelevant anyway. Sublevel 6 is my favorite code level. It introduces the common PM606 ambience, which is Monster Mass slowed down. Although this version has a distant sublevel 1 beat, so it's hard to hear, I consider it to be the common PM606 ambience. The code is interesting, making a cool question mark shape. The sublevel acts as a good transition to sublevel 7, putting you in a pre-downhill state of mind. I can't put it any higher though, because it's just a few hallways and a code. Sublevel 5 doesn't do anything wrong. The layout is somewhat refreshing, having 3 routes that branch off at the spawn and the first button in the game, not counting the tutorial button. The code is also placed in an acceptable place, the number code, although I wish it were a little more hidden considering this is sublevel 5. I think there should be a semi-transparent wall revealing the general location of the button to give the player an idea of what they should do. There's also a smiler by the exit for some reason. It does low damage and moves slowly. I don't know why it's there. Maybe to be weird? It certainly doesn't add anything to the experience, in my opinion. Overall, an unremarkable sublevel, but an acceptable one. Sublevel 18 is mostly a good sublevel, but I think there should be more smilers, as there's only one. Considering it's after a break sublevel, I think it's too easy. Although there are a few dangerous dead ends around to the right of the spawn. These dead ends have corruptions that turn completely dark when the smiler's following you, so it can be difficult. Still, the smiler is only in this area about 50% of the time. In the old version of the sublevel, after pressing the button, the level would go dark, and you'd have to grope your way around to the exit. I don't know why they removed this. The old version of Sublevel 18 had a much more appropriate difficulty level. You can also see the Wraith through a semi-transparent wall near the spawn, which is pretty cool because you can use that wall as a landmark for when it's dark and the Smiler's chasing you. There are also 2 buttons in this sublevel on the left side of the spawn that don't unlock the exit. Why are they here? To confuse the player? Do they serve a purpose in unlocking a secret? I don't know. The questions. Finally, the sublevel has the iconic "it goes deeper" secret. So it gets some points for that. Sublevel 12!
I died on the first jump. I hate this sublevel.
Oh my goodness. Not sublevel 12. Oh, the pain. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. I hate the old version of this sublevel with a burning passion. In the current version, you have to go through 2 obbies, the one on the left being very easy, on the one on the right being a nerve-wracking experience. In the new version, after you press the button at the end of the lobby, The insta-killing lava goes away, and you can go through a Jamal to reach the exit where the lava used to be. In the old version, after pressing the button, you'd have to do the whole obby again to get back. Good stuff. I think the new version of the sublevel is a nice breath of fresh air at the right time and adds pressure and variation to the PM606 experience, but it doesn't have so much to offer in comparison to the later sublevels, so it's ranked around the middle. I think the old version of this sublevel can go fry an egg. If I were to rank the old version, it would be number 20 on this list. Sublevel 17 is a nice break after the demanding sublevel 16. It's a huge maze, but not the most confusing one, as there are many landmarks in the form of walls isolated from the main structure, and a smiler that always gets stuck in the same spot. Despite the maze being large, the path to the exit is pretty simple, as it's divided into mini sections, only requiring you to take a left or a right occasionally. Not a bad sublevel. I do wish the entrance to the secret area, though, was placed somewhere a little more hidden, so that deducts a few points. Sublevel 8 is when the training wheels are off. The smiler here is vicious and the first to go at the standard PM606 speed. The maze is fairly large and contains a well-hidden button that's near the spawn, but hard to find if you haven't memorized the location nonetheless. Not only that, but it's dark! The sublevel layout makes it hard to find the button, but easy to get to the exit once you've pressed it, as all you need to do is weave out of the inner maze, bringing you to a straightforward path to the exit. Besides, when looking for the button for the first time, you'll probably pass the red door anyway. Behind the red door, there's another section where 4 purple doors surround the exit. I think it's a lot easier to get around these doors than in sublevel 4 because the pattern is much more consistent. Overall, I think sublevel 8 does a good job of putting you into the core of the game, as it includes all the main mechanics: hard to find buttons, dangerous smilers, low field of view, and a few fatal dead ends. It's not impossible either, as avoiding the smiler isn't too difficult, and it's not that hard to get lost. So despite being harder than the previous sublevels, I don't think it's ridiculously challenging for where it's placed. It would be placed higher if I enjoyed playing it, as I don't. This is because I'm never really able to memorize where the button is, which is really frustrating, and I don't think it offers anything unique. Wow, you're still watching? Or did you skip most of the video to get to this amazing halfway marker? Either way, by this point, all of the sublevels are fun to play, interesting, and well balanced, except for the upcoming ranking. Sublevel 20 is pretty cool. The path to the second smiling winner fight prepares you for the worst with all the inverted red walls. The arena looks awesome. The music is super cool. It creates an incredibly tense feel and really fits the pace of Smiling Winner's attacks. Smiling Winner also has 2 new attacks, and they're really intimidating when he mixes them with the Smilers and wall beams. So why isn't this sublevel ranked near the top, you might be wondering? Because it's easier than sublevel 10, in my opinion. The 2 new attacks are pretty easy to avoid, and with more attacks comes less chance that the annoying rising lava attack will be used. This attack is the hardest to survive and the most RNG based. I placed this sublevel this low because it's too easy considering it's fairly far into the game. Sublevel 14 has the best usage of purple doors in the entire game, in my opinion. The whole maze encircles the exit, which is surrounded by purple doors. It's not the largest sublevel, but the many dead ends make up for it. The dead ends also make it harder to reach the exit before the purple door blocks it. There is a single Smiler in this sublevel that's even faster than the average Smiler, making the process of reaching the exit in time even more tense. However, despite being faster, I've found that it's easy to get the Smiler off your path because of how long the hallways are. It's great to see purple doors finally used in an entertaining way. Sublevel 2. I love how Sublevel 2 introduces wall corruptions to let the player know that the game will slowly get stranger and more intense. Right from the get-go, you can see the exit behind a semi-transparent wall, giving you a basic idea of where it could be. The maze is fairly straightforward, and while it can take a little bit of time for a first-timer to reach the exit, it's not easy to get lost. There are multiple blue screens of death walls fixed at the blue screen, placed in ways that create landmarks in the brain of the player. The number for the code is also well placed, as it's not too far from the main path, but not directly on the path either. I think this is a great early sublevel that does a good job of teaching the player to use landmarks to map the sublevels in the head. Sublevel 9 acts as a huge roadblock for new players. The Smiler's aggressive, there aren't many places to run or hide, and the layout is confusing at first. Not to mention the infamous button behind the hidden wall. After I located the hidden button, I found the sublevel to be rather enjoyable. The layout is pretty simple, just a bunch of zigzag corridors circling around each other until a long hallway which leads to the exit. The sublevel, as you can clearly see, also has many Jamals. Jamals are wonderful. The inclusion of Jamals bumps this level up to where it is on the list. Jamal Bliss. Anyway, I think the level's difficulty is warranted considering the training wheels have been taken off already. Sublevel 13 is a short yet thrilling sublevel packed with Smilers in a small, compact maze. The maze is designed so that every little section has a 4 or 3-way view so you can see nearby Smilers and make a detour if necessary. There's a button to the top right corner, and the exit is at the bottom of the sublevel. It's really nice to have a fast-paced, close-quarters sublevel like this after the longer mazes of 8 and 9. My only gripe is that there's a cheap death trick that often causes death for first timers. Around the exit, there are 3 Jamals. The third Jamal, which is the walkthrough wall, is in the corner so the player won't see it until they reach the end of the corridor. Chances are the player will try the first 2 Jamals before seeing the third one and die to the Smilers as a result. Other than that, I really like this sublevel and enjoy playing it. Sublevel 10 is the first boss fight in PM606. You start in a long corridor and can see the boss arena at the end of it. There are 4 intersections in this corridor. 3 of them lead to dead ends, but the top one leads you to a radio that gives the code to sublevel 11 in Morse code. Pretty cool. The boss fight is fairly challenging. The floor beams can do some nasty damage if you aren't standing to the middle left or right of the arena. The Smiler's Smiling Winner summons aren't so bad, even when mixed though. The hardest attack is the Rising Lava attack, where the player must jump on pillars that come out of the ground in a random place. If you don't reach them in time, you'll take some heavy damage. Because Smiling Winner only has 3 attacks, other than the sword attack when you can damage him, he'll use this attack frequently. With bad luck, even if you're prepared, there's still a risk of death. New players will likely die to this sublevel a few times, which is good because it means they'll have to do the other sublevels again and in turn improve their PM606 skills. I have no problems with this sublevel and I like the challenge it gives. Sublevel 1 is a great introductory level. In the spawning sector, there are many dead ends, making the nature of the game immediately clear. Beyond this section is a very long hallway, probably as long as the hallways of sublevel 10 and 20 combined. There are many intersections in this hallway, all of which end in a dead end except for one around the end of the hallway. This hallway is marked by a gray wall. What a wonderful way to make an early sublevel interesting. The number code is also pretty well placed, being at the end of the hallway on the right intersection. Not on the path to the exit, but in a place where new players will likely find. Sublevel 1 is iconic, memorable, and interesting. I have no gripes whatsoever. Sublevel 7 is the first sublevel with some challenge, as the Smiler here does standard damage. If you've grasped the mechanics of PM606 properly, you should be fine on your first attempt, but there is some risk. As though slow, the Smiler can corner you if you're unlucky. There are buttons everywhere, and a random button unlocks the exit at the end of the sublevel. Sometimes the first button you press unlocks the exit, sometimes the 10th button does. It could be the last one even. Pressing the buttons while dodging the Smiler is an extremely fun experience. There's the point of hope when you're about to check the hallway to the exit to see if you've gotten the right button. If you have, then the bliss is strong. If you haven't, go back and press more buttons. What's more to love here? The buttons also have strong red lighting, creating a somewhat creepy atmosphere, as the sublevel's fairly dark. A really fun sublevel all in all. Sublevel 16 has you running through 3 big sections, each section containing a certain type of wall for distinction. There is a button in each section and a chasing wall coming from behind, ready to smash you to pieces. The level's hard to memorize because the buttons are placed far away from each other, and there's a huge chasing wall coming to get you. Oh my goodness, you better run. I like how the spawn, there are purple doors, so you have to time your starting of the sublevel. If you get caught up in a purple door, like a bug getting caught up in a net, there's still time to complete the sublevel, just a lot less time. Getting caught up in the net can create an air of uncertainty while you scramble to get the first button. Did I mention the fact that there's a chasing wall? Oh, and there's a smiler at the end of the sublevel, camping around the exit. It's nothing in comparison to the big chasing wall that's coming toward you. Oh my goodness! The usage of the chasing wall in this sublevel is so good. 99% of the fan games copied this level and used slightly different layouts and walls to make it look different. This sublevel makes me smile a winning smile. So why isn't it ranked number 1? This is why. Why? How hard is it to not overlay textures? Sublevel 19 is huge. There are long corridors everywhere, creating a feeling of incredible depth. A new smiler is introduced in this sublevel. The Elite Smiler. The Elite Smiler is incredibly fast and has a purple aura around it, letting you know when it's nearby. And the Elite Smiler can summon chasing walls. It's hectic indeed. There's a button hidden around the place. The Elite Smiler summons chasing walls. If you walk right, then up, then right again, and keep going right until you see a chasing wall smack in front of your face, take a right and you'll find a button. Thanks for acting as a landmark, chasing wall. It really feels like everything's out to get you here. There's a secret message located near the exit, which is pretty cool. It acts as the player's first glimpse at this administrative activity. Unlike the regular smilers, which make an occasional screech, Elite Smilers make a huge boom in the distance, which sounds like someone dropping a huge crate in the distance, thus making the sublevel feel even larger. The music, Tartarus Block 6, has strings in the background, creating emotions of a large space. This is my favorite sublevel, not just from 1 to 20, but in all of PM606. Wow, you survived. Did you skip to the end because you thought there would be a funny joke or something? Or did you actually watch the video to the end? Either way, thanks for watching. Oh, and Winning Sun now has a wiki. Link in the description.